So, as we discussed last session regarding the overview about the SAP MDG, so today we are going to start the first chapter, which is nothing but the SAP Introduction chapter. So, in this particular chapter, we have the major topic which I'm going to discuss today, that is purpose of MDG for business management and governance. Secondly, the detailed MDG architecture with various deployment options. And third one is the defined business framework for data governance. This is the 3 points which I'm going to cover today. Let's see how much, at least two out of these 3, I'm planning at least if I can able to cover 2, and in the next session I will continue. But I will go particularly for initial sessions, I will go a little bit slow, and I will try to provide as much as detailed information, because most of the people are here which they don't have any understanding about MDG. In fact, they probably don't have enough understanding about the master data. So that's what we have to go a little slow. We have to be, we have to understand whatever the master data, what are the different type of master data we have, and then slowly we will get into that. Let's continue. So today I prepared another PPT. Okay. So today is our first chapter, which is introduction chapter. So in the introduction chapter, the first thing which we need to understand that what is master data and what is MDG, particularly MDG and MDM. So first thing is what is master data and what is MDM and what is MDG, and why they are so important for any kind of industry for today's scenario. So basically, if I talk about master data is whatever the information is necessary for any kind of selling, buying, or kind of maintain regarding some product information. That is all about the master data. Okay, so let's say I usually go some outlet and buy some product. So going to the outlet, buying some product from XYZ company. So that means I'm the customer, and from whom I'm taking the product, he is nothing but my seller. So the relation between the seller and the customer is nothing but the business partner. So this whole business partner along with customer and vendor details has to be captured somewhere. And that details we call it as a master data. Similarly, I purchase some certain product, and that product will have certain price, certain detailing about the characteristics, classifications, etc. So that is something, the product related master data information. Okay, so that is all about the master data. Now, as far as SAP is concerned, what happens that if you see like in any kind of industry, whether it is a banking sector or retail sector or manufacturing sector, everywhere we have a lot of master data regarding product information, customer information, vendor information, employee details, etc. Then there was a need in order to segregate those master data into a specific form. And the reason behind that need was to run the business proper way, to run the business in such a way that it will be productive, it will be in future, it will give more benefit not only to the business point of view, also from the customer point of view, from the vendor point of view, and from the product point of view. Okay. So then SAP came up with the module which is SAP MDM, Master Data Management. Now this Master Data Management, however, it sounds like only just management, that means managing the data. But that is not the case. MDM, which is Master Data Management, that having the capability of managing and governing the data as well. Both it can manage and govern as well. But the name which has been given, that is SAP MDM, Master Data Management. And from SAP side, that was the first tool regarding the data management and governance. Okay, so the purpose of this particular tool was to manage the data, to define the data, to create change, mark for deletion, define some different workflow processes, define data quality services, define data replication, data import services, etc. Okay. In order to do that, MDM having four different tools, that is console, data manager, import manager, and syndicator. So basically, console is something which is for the when you are trying to create some table, some structure, creating the port information, etc., etc. That time the console we use. Data manager to maintain the data. Import manager to load the data to MDM. And syndicator is to replicate the data from MDM to some target system. So this is how MDM had or MDM has different tools. By using that particular tools, this data gets managed or governed. So then what kind of data gets managed? Basically the employee information, product means material information, supplier information, customer information, etc. Then what happens? Basically in MDM what happens that uh, after some time business understood or business feel or there has been uh, some potential example came in front of business that MDM has certain lacking points or certain area which needs to be improved. What are those areas? Let me start with, like, for an example, data validations and derivations. Over the period of time, industry was started demanding a complex data validation and derivation, and MDM was unable to deliver. What kind of complexity I'm talking about? Complexity means multiple fields will be involved, multiple various kinds of validation logics are involved at the same time. Derivations logics are at the same time involved. So there are a lot of validations and derivation logics which was demanding by the industry. But MDM was unable to offer that, or rather, if I use the word, that is, it was uh, not up to the mark to deliver that. Okay? There was some lack. So then, over the period of time, SAP understood the problem and came up with a new tool, that is, or a new module, that is SAP Master Data Governance, SAP MDG. Now the question is, what is the difference between MDM and MDG? Whether it's a magic? No, it's not a magic. Uh, from MDM and MDG point, the differences point of view, they are actually having the same architecture. MDM and MDG, they are having the same architecture, but the difference is the process. MDM, the kind of process it follows, MDG follow a completely different process. Now let me show you a difference between MDG and MDM. Okay, so MDM and MDG. The first difference is MDM has been written on C++, where MDG has been written on SAP MDG. Okay, so the backend tool is ABAP here in MDG. And we all know that ABAP is the one and only very popular programming language uh, by SAP. So, and C++ is not SAP's own programming language. So, obviously, from business point of view, there is no doubt that SAP will focus on that particular product where they have their own programming language in the base. Okay, so that's the reason that SAP has more focus on MDG, and that's why slowly the roll-off happened for MDM, and slowly the things has been moved to MDG. Okay, as I was telling that MDM having different tools like console, data manager, import manager, and syndicator. Again, just reframe my word again. That is, console is for creating tables or structures or certain port details or mapping details. Data manager is to maintain the data. Import manager is importing the data to MDM, and syndicator is for replicating the data from MDM. Where in the MDG, we have something called data model, process model, UI model, workflow, data validation and derivations, search and duplicate check, data input and replication. Okay. So these are all different items. Now basically by using data model, we create different fields, different attributes of fields, so different entity types, different relationship we can maintain here, and many more other things like mapping, maintain the standard structures, include the custom fields in the standard structures, etc. Process model, basically we define the processes like create, change, mark for deletion, mask change, multiprocessing. So these are all things we define the processes in this particular area. UI model, here we have the UI application in place. Okay, so the standard UI fields will be there, then we can add up our custom fields on UI, etc. Then workflow, the as usual workflow process. So every company will have a different workflow process. So the workflow process we can define through this. Then data validations and derivations. Okay. Now coming to the particular point that which I was mentioning, that regarding the validations and derivations, that was the so-called one of the reasons why the migration happened from MDM to MDG, because the industry was looking for some critical validations and derivation logic, and that has been offered through MDG, because in MDG for validations and derivations we use a different type of body like business analysts, different type of classes, methods and logics. Okay, so that's the reason here, and also we are doing this through ABAP and object-oriented ABAP technique. And because of that reason, whatever the complexity you have in your validations and derivation, that can be easily addressed through this MDG validations and derivations. Okay. Similarly, another one is the data quality. Data quality check is one of the so-called points where the things has been moved from MDM to MDG. So in MDG, we have advanced search technique, like we have a different type of search like database search, remote key search, HANA-based search, and enterprise search or embedded search, whatever you call. And then we have uh, the advanced duplicate check mechanism, which is much advanced than MDM. MDM also having workflow. MDM also having data validations and derivation. MDM also having search and duplicate check. But the, the technique or the process which MDM has and the process which MDG has is a huge difference. And MDG having, of course, the advanced technique to deal with different master data. Then data import and replicate. This is another so-called point. While importing or replicating, then industry started to ask some complex data import mechanism or complex data replication mechanism. Then how we will do that? Okay. So in that case, in MDG, again by using ABAP and object-oriented ABAP, the things has been maintained in a very advanced manner. Okay.
So this was we were discussing like difference between the MDM and MDG. So this is the differences. Okay, the regarding the processes which we discussed, and particularly the data validations, duplicate check, data import and replication. So this is the major difference between MDM and MDG. Now probably you are thinking like why I'm talking about MDM, and we are not here to discuss about MDM, we are here to discuss about MDG. The reason is that is particularly those who are framing yourself uh, as an architect and in future will take a major role in the project in terms of functional lead or rather the project lead. And then you will have a very detailed discussion with customer regarding the requirement, regarding the feasibility, regarding customers landscape, etc, etc. And what happens that sometimes customer will cross you that what you are saying, uh, that is all I have in MDM. So what exactly you are offering me additionally in MDG? So you should know the proper difference between MDM and MDG. Then only you can able to place your point that no, that is not the same what you are thinking, because customer will may not have that amount of technicality or technical details what we have discussed so far. They will see, okay, I also have a workflow there, I also have a certain process of business flow there, I also do have in data validations and derivations there. So like what is different? No, the difference is the process. Okay, so down the line, when we will get into the MDG, in each and every chapter we will talk about data model, process model, and so, and then uh, you can explain them that look, in data model this is something which we are offering in MDG which you don't have in MDM. Okay, so that's the idea. Now coming to the next slide, which is master data governance regarding the consolidation and the central governance. Now remember one thing, that is nowadays consolidation is a very important topic. And why consolidation is important? Because you have a data, let's say customer data or supplier data. You have this customer or supplier data into the various departments, the development department, the sales department, the marketing department, etc. So it is important that every department, whatever the data holds regarding customer and vendor, that has to be uh, come into a certain place, and then from that place we can process the data further and use it for the better governance in future. So that's the reason the consolidation is now, particularly SAP is putting a lot of focus on consolidation area. And we are also trying to understand our customer that consolidation is why so much important for the business. Okay, otherwise customer may think that, oh, I have a very small amount of data in my in my production system regarding customer or vendor, so I don't need that. But that is not the case. You may have a different data in your different systems. You have APO systems, you have normal ECC system, you have BW systems, you have HCM system, you have thousands other systems, and those systems will have the customer data, vendor data. So those data needs to be come to one place, that is MDG system, and from MDG the data has to be processed and move to the target system like BW again or ECC again or APO again or whatever. So that is what we are focusing. So here in this particular diagram you can see the data which is coming from, uh, let's say, from cloud system or uh, certain merge and acquisition, like different sort of data like product information, customer information. In fact, whenever the merge and acquisition comes into the picture, it is beyond material, beyond customer or beyond supplier. Rather, there will be a equipment management, and uh, some a lot of other functionalities are involved, okay, which we will come across in a specific module called EAM, Enterprise Asset Management, which is basically managing for merge and acquisition. Anyway, that we will talk about. It is a part of our discussion. So ultimately, the data is coming to MDG from the various uh, places, from various systems, and in MDG, the data gets uh, processed and then distribute to the target system. So the target system can be any kind of a logical system, like it can be S4 HANA on-premise or cloud or third-party system or ECC system or some other system as well. Okay. So this is how the overall, the data flow of master data happens. Now this is the diagram which in the demo session also we discussed. So this diagram is very important in terms of understanding that where we are standing and what is our job in terms of MDG. So basically we have a different sort of data. Okay, so we have a data like reporting data, transactional data, master data, and reference data. So basically reference data means, for an example, uh, when I'm creating one material, so what are the details I need? I need the details like material type, I need the details like unit of measure, the material group, then classification, characteristics, then warehouse detail, plant details of the product, etc. Okay, so those information we call it as a reference data. So without that information, it is not possible to create one particular material in MDG, or not only MDG, in any system rather. So that is something which is a reference data. So from MDG perspective, functional team or technical team, whatever it is, basically who is managing the MDG system, uh, they will maintain this reference data. How they will maintain? Business will provide this reference data, like the list of classification, the list of characteristics they will provide, because those classification and characteristics probably they already have in their running production system. So those details they will provide, and obviously if they want to add on, they can add on those details. Similarly, unit of measure details, plant details, company code, purchase org, etc. Okay. Now with these details, we will be playing here with the master data. We will be creating like vendor, customer, material, GL account, cost center, company, cost center group, profit center group. These are all things. Okay. Then we also have the transactional data. So transactional data is basically generate within SAP ERP system. So, however, as far as MDG is concerned, we don't deal much with the transactional data except little bit on finance side. Otherwise, rest of the time we mainly deal with the master data. But yes, transactional data at some point in your business framework can be possible to handle. Then coming to the reporting data. Reporting data means, let's say for an example, you are uh, creating vendor or you are managing vendor. Okay. And definitely everything what we are doing through the MDG process. Now in MDG process, we have certain workflow, we have certain validations, and through that the data gets created or data gets updated. Now what happens that business, they want to see the data in a monthly wise or bi-weekly wise or quarter wise or annually. They want to see the data. Okay. So then what is going to happen? Whatever the data you are creating at the MDG system, and then let's say you are updating to the respective target system, whatever it is, ultimately BW team will extract those information in a daily basis or weekly basis. Let's say daily basis. They will do the delta load or full load, whatever it is. Mainly delta load, not full load is not a recommended one. And by using this delta load, they will extract all the information daily basis, whatever you are updating in your MDG system. And then that information they will be using in the reporting purpose. Okay. So that is what reporting data also we deal with. May not be directly, but indirectly. There is a clear connection between MDG data for the reporting data. Now coming to the another important thing, that is in SAP MDG, what is the strength of MDG? If I discuss in a little overview manner, what is the strength? The first strength is that is out of box delivery. So basically we have in SAP MDG, we deal with different type of out of box uh, items. Like we have a business functions, we have web intro services, we have business configuration sets, etc. And those items, the benefit is the moment you activate those items, it will give you that entire framework ready for you. So this is something which is uh, making your work quite easy than MDM. In MDM, it's not like that. In MDM, you have to build a lot of things from scratch. But in MDG, the moment, let's say for an example, the moment you activate the respective business function, Post activation, the business functions and its relative attribute, entity types, relationship, everything will be available for you. So this is one a kind of a benefit for you. Second thing is the integrated data model approach. So whatever the model we have, the data model particularly, or process model or UI model, they are integrated with each other. So whatever the data I'm maintaining in the data model, the same data will be used in process model, in UI model, and down the line through workflow, it will go for replication, import, etc. Third thing is the governance and the data quality and collaboration. So basically the business flow. So we have a certain business flow with the data validations and derivations. So this is one of the strengths. So we can have a kind of a data validations and derivations. We are not, it's not like a, XK01 or XD01 or XK02, XD02, MM01, MM02. We just go there, open that transaction, enter something and save it, and that will go to the respective MARA table or LFA1 table or LFB1 table or whatever the table, vendor table, customer table, material table, whatever. No, it's not like that. It will be validate your data, whether that data is really necessary for the business. It will be approved by the different authorized person. Then only it will activate and update your respective table. Okay. Next is the replication. So when you are replicating the data, there might be again another sort of validations involved, or there will be a lot of custom fields which will be involved. So a complex data replication can be managed through ALE-IDOC or SOA manager. Okay, so ALE-IDOC is mainly used for material, for customer, for supplier, and mainly SOA manager used for finance, and also we can use this for supplier as well. Okay, then the data reusability and extensibility. Reusability means, let's say you create one vendor and that vendor having one company code, one purchase order. Now next time you want to add up another company code and another purchase order, will you create the same vendor again? No, you will extend that vendor with the new company code and the new purchase order. So that is what the reusability is fantastic here. You can reuse the particular product again and again, and maintain them accordingly. So this is the strength which we will be discussed in the following chapters. So based on that, you can see we have a different chapters like data model, replication, search and duplicate check, validations, process model, UI, etc. So this is the whole strength of MDG. Okay. Now post this slide, I will stop myself and then we will start the question answer session. Now this slide is talking about MDG roadmap. So how MDG basically having a complete roadmap. So here you can see like source system. So MDG receive the data from different source systems. Okay, like uh, different reference data, I mean to say that. Okay, like classification, characteristics, company code, purchase or payment terms, unit of measure, material group. These are all different details we receive from the different source systems. Source systems can be obviously ECC system or any third party system or HANA system or even the data quality system like BODS, like some ETL data quality system. So that is also can be our source system. So anyway, the data we receive in MDG, and now we can use the consolidation, but consolidation is optional, obviously. It's not mandatory, it's optional. But nowadays, SAP uh, focus more on this particular consolidation. That's what I'm focusing this particular or stressing this particular area again and again. But this is not mandatory. This is absolutely optional activity. So once you enter these details in MDG through initial data load, okay, how this initial data load happens, these are all things we will talk about. Okay, we have a specific chapter for that, a specific topic for that. Now, if let's say if I go with consolidation, then we have these four different slab to cross. What are those slabs? Like staging data, then standardize the data, then match groups and best record. And finally, we have the final best record, and then we process further. Regarding the consolidation, we have a separate topic, separate chapter which is reserved. So don't worry about that. Today, whatever I'm talking about, everything will again come back in a detailed manner. So today's is like a one overview. Obviously, the chapter name itself is an introduction chapter, which will give you a fundamental understanding. Then each and everything we will have a very detailed discussion. Okay? Then we will have the master data, which is uh, staging area, active area. Now, what is staging area? What is active area? That is something which we will talk about more detail down the line, probably in next chapter. Okay. So in those data processes, finally, what happens? Your master data which creates, whether it is a material or customer or vendor or any sort of finance data. Okay. So this is the flow. 1 minute. Let me complete this flow as well. The flow says like you enter something in MDG that going for the validation. After the validation, it will approve or reject. If reject, then it will go back again and again submit for validation. Then after the approve, it will go for the replication, and then it will go to the multiple target system. Okay, and this is the architectural overview. Now, in the architectural overview, you can see the entire screen has been divided into three different sections. You can see two dotted line here, right? The extreme left hand side is like a source. The extreme right hand side is nothing but the target, and the middle whatever you see, that is nothing but MDG. Now from left hand side, whatever you are receiving, that is your source system data. As I mentioned, it can be reference data, or it can be, let's say, master data as well, which already you have created in your existing process. Let's say you have existing material number or existing vendor number or customer number. That also you need to load in MDG system, because now your entire business is shifting to MDG. So you need those archive data as well. And then here in MDG, if you see, the base is above. And then we have ERP 6.0. Yes, one more thing over here regarding the versions. Now, so far, as far as MDG is concerned, we have a different version release. First is it is ECC 6.0. ECC side, it is always 6.0. But the MDG version which came, that is 6.1. Now you can ask me one question, whether before MDG 6.1 there was any version. Yes, there was a version called MDG 5.0. Then why this 5.0 we are not including in our list? The reason is that in 5.0 the kind of architecture which was using, that is no more exists today. So it has been terminated already by SAP. So the present architecture This is the present architecture. Whatever we see, this is something which starts from MDG 6.1 version. Then MDG 7.0 came, then 8.0, then 9.0, then 9.1, 9.2. Definitely in few days, the further versions will appear. But the main question is that what is the difference between these versions? Whether there is any difference or it's just like just a different version. No such differences. No, there is a difference. So what is the difference? 6.1 was a very basic version. In terms of data model, it had a very limited amount of standard fields. Then coming to the GUI or UI section, the graphical user interface was pretty much, kind of a old school kind of a GUI. Certain validations, most of the validations are there, but some more new validation body or sorry, some more new validation classes and its relative methods which has been introduced later MDG 6.1. So MDG 6.1 was a very basic version. Okay. Then 7.0, the main difference is in the data model level, number of attribute has been increased than 6.1. That was one of the things. Second thing, the GUI has been improved. Third thing, from MDG 7.0, some new concepts started to come. What are those new concepts? Like the data cleansing activity. In MDG 6.1 also the cleansing activity was exist, but it was not very much mature kind of stuff. But 7.0 it was little mature than 6.1, the data cleansing activity, particularly for customer and vendor. Okay. And then in UI level also some additional UI application was added in 7.0, which was not there in 6.1. Then in replication, the what it called that some segments also was added, and some also new field which has been included in the segments. These are all differences. Now coming to 8.0, 8.0 was kind of a path breaking. Why it is path breaking? Because from 8.0, HANA came into the picture in a massive manner. Okay, and also in 8.0, the consolidation concept came. The data cleansing which I was talking about, it was the older version of consolidation. So consolidation came in 8.0. MDG started to align with HANA, that is again 8.0. Also the enterprise asset management, this data model also has been introduced from MDG 8.0. And many other, like GUI also improved and data model also improved, a lot of other things. But this is the major three differences which we have in 8.0. And then in 9.0, S4 HANA association came, which was not there in the previous versions. S4 HANA. Okay. And consolidation became more mature, advanced in 9.0, particularly in terms of the mass update and multiple processing for customer, vendor, material, etc. And then in MDG 9.1, 9.2, slight difference, not much, but from 6.1 to 9.0, these are all major differences which we have in the system wise. So now come back to this slide. So what happened, that the data which we receive in the MDG, here we have what kind of data: finance record, material record, business partner, including customer and vendor. Now remember, in MDG, it is always like whenever we call supplier or customer, it is always having the association with business partner. So business partner is like a parent, then it is having ERP supplier. Similarly for customer, parent is business partner and then we have ERP customer. Anyway, the next slide we will have same sort of discussion. Then in MDG we have workflow, staging, validations, search and duplicate check, key mapping, value mapping, replication, UI. These are all different sort of activities we have. And finally, with that, we produce the data. Now, what is the launch pad which we use in order to access those master data? The launch pad is NWBC, NetWeaver Business Client. Always remember in MDG, by default, which appears, that is NWBC, which basically designed by the floor plan manager, which is the advanced version of WebDim Pro. Anyway, these things again we will repeat in the UI chapter because these are all related to UI. The Launchpad, NWBC, these are all. Now this NWBC is basically a kind of a launchpad where we have a material, customer, supplier, all those things. And then by using this NWBC, we create, we change, we do the mark for deletion, block unblock, data replication, data import, a lot of things we can do. Okay. And then slowly from MDG 9.0 version, this NWBC has been replaced by SAP Fiori. Nowadays, there are a good amount of project which they use Fiori. Fiori, according to me, Fiori is much better than NWBC. Okay. In fact, Fiori is also part of our discussion. So we will talk about that whenever the time will come. And finally, once you have the product ready, that you send it to the target system. So target system can be third party system, ECC system, on premises, on cloud, whatever it is. Okay. And also you can see the here integrate services of data standardization and enrichment, data load, search and matching activity. So these are all things happen from when you receive the data from source to MDG. Then here tight integration into SAP business logic and leveraging standard as SAP ABAP. So here you maintain different type of validations and derivation by using ABAP and object-oriented ABAP logic. And finally, the client systems are integrated via various channels such as SOA Manager, ALE IDOC, RFC channel, file transfer, etc. So basically the replication happens through SOA, ALE, RFC and file transfer. Okay. And also you can see SAP Fiori, which is optional, obviously, because NWBC by default it will appear. Then you can replace. In fact, there are some projects they use both Fiori and NWBC. Mainly Fiori they use for mass processing, mass update, etc. Okay, because this is something very easy to manage. But in not only easy, uh, conceptually also it is good where NWBC having some lacking point that I will talk about. So this is the high level architecture. Now I will stop here. Now, whatever the question you have, so far whatever we discussed, lot of information we shared by this time. Now please let me know if you have any question. I will try to answer those questions.
Aditya, Umesh here. I wanted to get some more information about robust data replication.
Yes, definitely. We will talk about the data replication, but I would like to request you, because we have data replication and import separate chapters. So I think if we wait, and then in this chapter we will have a very detailed discussion with hands-on. Okay. So I
Okay,
would like
got
to
it.
request you. Yeah. So we
No,
have
sir,
basically, yeah. So we have like data model, then process model, then UI model, then search and duplicate check, then workflow modeling, validations and derivations, data replication and import, and the enrichment chapter. So we have specific chapters to discuss about that with hands-on, obviously. Okay.
okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other question anybody has?
Hello, Adit. Ashit this side. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Adit, my question is related to migration. Suppose that any client using MDM and is planning to move MDG ECC. So that time as a migration, what the prerequisites you are covering in your session in future?
Yes, definitely. So that will come under the again replication and import chapter, because in the import chapter we in the import topic we are going to talk about how the initial data load happens, how the data import, like for existing vendors or existing material you have from the different systems, how you load them in MDG. Okay. And also apart from that, we have certain other technique like file transfer process, how that works and what is the difference between DIF, data import framework, and the file upload activity, along with some mass update activity as well. So we will have a very detailed discussion about that.
Okay. And one similar question is related to suppose that we are moving ECC MDG to S4 HANA MDG, and plus we are connecting with the Ariba, replacing to SRM. So during this connection, we are again connecting something different, because client also using ECC MDG, and we are planning to migrate on S4 HANA MDG.
What is your question? Like, I didn't. Definitely, it is possible. The answer is this is possible. I will also talk about like from normal SAP MDG system. Let's say you have backend Oracle or normal HANA, not S4 HANA. How you migrate yourself from normal HANA to the S4 HANA. That migration I will talk about. However, most of the activity will be the basis part, but there are slight activity which on MDG side. Okay, but I will talk about the entire story. But connecting with Ariba, that really I don't know because I never worked on that. But how you make your system from MDG on top of HANA to S4 HANA on premise, and how you communicate from on premise S4 HANA MDG system to the target system like S4 HANA Cloud. That is also I will talk about, and also normal ECC as well. Okay, and from there how you connect with Ariba, that you need to figure it out.
Okay,
Okay.
Adit. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? This particular topic which you mentioned, this will come under the enrichment chapter. Okay, just for your information, because these are all new topic. These are all not the basic details. These are all some the additional activity which is obviously nowadays it is very important, but still we need to categorize the thing, what is the basic and the add-on kind of stuff. Okay, any other question? Okay, if there is no question, let me continue. Okay, now I will continue with the examples of master data. So in the master data, like what are those master data we have, that by that time we know that material, customer, vendor, finance, etc. Now in this material, what are those important details we need to maintain as far as MDG is concerned? Okay, and how we maintain. So let's go through the system. One minute, let me unshare my screen for a while connecting the system. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen. So the server access, you must collect the details from coordinator. Okay. This chapter we like, if you don't have server access, then it's fine. But from next chapter onwards, I would like to request you that you must have a server access, uh, because I will do a lot of demonstration, and it will be good if you have the access. Then offline you can spend some time with that. Okay, let me. So here you can see this is obviously IDS system, and we have ECC 6.0, and this is enhancement package 7. This is one instance. Another one is S4 HANA. Okay, this is S4 HANA. Okay, I'm just for the basic details, I'm just showing you certain things. Like first we will go to NWBC. Remember, NWBC is something which is, as I just explained, this is nothing but the NetWeaver Business Client Launchpad. And this Launchpad will be required again and again in order to access different master data. Okay. So now when I go there, wait a minute, let me log into this 4 HANA system. See here. So in NetWeaver Business Client, we have something called material governance. In material governance, we have something like create material, change material, mark for deletion, etc. And rest of the things which we will talk about in detail down the line chapters. Okay. So let's say, for an example, if I want to create one material, then obviously I will use this option. I will not use MM01 I will option. Use this option through NWBC in order to create some material. Now, what is going to happen? that the moment I click on this create material, it will navigate to me to this certain screen. Now, what is this screen and all that I will talk about? And I'm providing change request type. Now, what is change request time and all those things I'm not going to discuss at this moment, otherwise the things will be little complicated. So I enter something, just remember this. I just enter some details regarding the material, and then it navigates me into the next screen, which is nothing but the change request screen. So let it appear. Okay. Now here you can see in this change request screen, you have the change request information like the change request number, description, priority, due date, reason, the status of the change request, the work item, and which date and time it has been created. Then it followed by the basic data. So basic data means the material number, however, it's a temporary number. Once the entire process, the approvals done, then it will generate a permanent number. Then the base unit of measure, material type, industry sector, material group, old material number, if there is any. So let's say in your present business system, which is obviously not SAP MDG system, they use certain material which is now going to archive and will create another new material with almost same details or probably adding a new characteristics or new plant details, etc. through MDG. So in that case, you need to maintain the old material number. Okay. Then you have the design data. Okay. Descriptions. Then you have classifications and characteristics. Okay. And then followed by dimensions, GTIN details, uh, and etc. Many more other details we have. So this is a particular UI application I select. So in this UI application, I have this many detail. There are other UI applications. When I will select that, I will have some more other details. Okay. So this is one change request. Similarly, if you go with this is material. Similarly, let's say you go with supplier governance, then manage supplier. Now, most of the people are working from home, and mainly this is weekend. Most of the people are at home. So Anyway, it's not opening. Let me try with customer. I don't think so. My internet is pretty slow like this. Probably some server level something problem. Let me go to customer, manage customer. Okay, okay. Supplier also open. Okay, now here. So when you create supplier or customer, so you have basically three options. Like you are trying, your supplier is like an organization or person or group. So let's say obviously uh, when you are working for a particular organization, so organization mainly deal with the organization, not any individual team or any individual. Okay. So then let's say create supplier, continue. Okay, the system has been refreshed recently, so probably I need to sit with the basis. So there are a lot of things which is not available here. Okay. There are a lot of things which is needs to be assigned exclusively, which is not there because recently the system got refreshed. So that's the reason. Anyway, that I will discuss with basis and will take care of those detailing. So make sure in the following sessions we will have no problem. Okay. Okay, that I need to. There are a lot of things which needs to be maintained because the last week the system got refreshed. Okay. So if I tell you in so what happened that the moment you select the organization, you will have a similar kind of a screen which will be open like this, change request screen, where you will have the change request followed by the business partner details, and followed by some ERP customer or ERP vendor details. So at this moment, I'm unable to show you that information, but obviously next week I will show you that. Okay? Once this, whatever then required, because of that reason, some error is appearing, so that needs to be fixed, then it will be okay. So the reason I went to the system, just to explain this, that when we go for particularly material, we will have basic description. In the basic, like in the basic descriptions, we will have unit of measure, then we will have material group, material type, etc. Then along with the pricing details, financial information, logistic information, etc. Okay. Then followed by ERP customer. ERP customer, first is, this is the business partner details, where we have the address data, then communication information, then control data, bank information, tax detail, etc., role details, etc. Then you have ERP customer detail. Under ERP customer, we have company code, and then we have sales org. Okay. In the company code, we have the account information, particularly the payment terms detail, payment method details, etc. And the sales org, similarly, we will have the purchasing data and partner codes. Okay, so this is the format. Okay, if you open the change request, this is how it will come in the change request. Okay, we will have anyway detailed discussion down the line. Then coming to the vendor, again vendor, this is the business partner information, business partner address, communication, control data, bank information, tax detail, role details, etc. Then you have company code. So in company code, you have account information, payment transaction, withholding tax, correspondence details, and many more other things. But these are all major things basically. And then in purchase or details, we have purchasing data and partner codes. Okay. Then financial information. Similarly, in the financial information, we will have the GL account, then profit center, then cost center, then profit center group, cost center group, company, etc. Okay. And this is how it is look like. So here, let's start with business partner. So business partner, we have, this is the business partner details, which is the parent details basically. The central data, or rather we call it as a BP ID, a BP group, the search term, first name, last name, etc. Followed by some address details like your postal code, transportation zone, country, language, etc. Then roles, whether you have company code and purchase or both, that roles. Then bank details, then tax details, then industry sector details, then address, etc. Then followed by customer or ERP vendor. Then ERP customer, we have general data, and then followed by company code and purchase org. Similarly, customer, we have general data, then company code, followed by sales org. Okay. Then material, again general data, unit of measure, EAN, classification, sales data, plant data, warehouse detail, etc. Finance, GL account, chart of account, financial reporting, balance sheet, cost element, cost center, company, profit center, consolidation, detailing. Then you have enterprise asset management. This is a new set of data model which we will talk about in detail later, but just as we are walk through this. So here Enterprise asset management is beyond of material, customer, vendor, and finance. So it is having something called like reference data, then location data, organization data, the manufacturing details, then the item over the MRO details, bill of material details. Okay, so basically these are all function, the equipment master, functional location, MRO. There are many more other things are there, which is not listed obviously here. Okay, which we will talk about. So majorly, if you ask me for any kind of project, what are the basic data model we use? We use the data model like finance, material, and business partner along with customer and vendor. There are very few which is using enterprise asset management. Apart from that, there is retail and fashion management, which honestly speaking having very less usage. So let's not put hands there. It's not really necessary. Yeah. Now question answer. So if we have, because this is very detailed informations we will come. Okay, 1 minute. So here we have similar details. Why SAP customer master data will have company code, sales org, vendor master data, company code, purchase org, material basic information, characteristic, classification. Then here finance. So this is done. Yes, this is the 3 point which I was talking about. Like, what is the difference between why like MDM to shifting MDG? So basically, there are a lot of duplicate records which needs to be addressed by using the advanced duplicate check, which MDM was not able to provide such kind of information or the technology. Then lack of framework. So the kind of workflow we use in MDG, we use the rule-based the workflow, which is the combination of workflow and the business rule. So in MDM, we usually use the normal workflow. So definitely that is another advantage here. Then the data quality area. Okay, and here is the architecture. So the basic architecture which I was talking about, like first you have source system. So from source system you get the referential data or some master data to MDG. In MDG, you by using this data model, process model, UI, and etc., you process the thing. Then your data goes to the respective tables like Mara table, LFA1, LFB1, KNA1, KNB1, BUT 000, the finance table. Okay, and then from there, if you want to send the data to the target system, then you can send it. So the target system can be normal ECC system or MDM system or S4 HANA system on cloud or some other system as well, CRM, SRM, etc. Then the communication channel, the communication channel will be RFC, and by using ALE IDOC, you can send. So if MDG is like it's a logical system which is capable with ALE IDOC and SOA services. Okay, so that means in target or at the source end, if you have normal ECC system which can deal with ALE IDOC or which can deal with SOA services, then we can easily communicate directly with MDG system. But let's say you have MDM system as a target or MDM system as a source, then what you are going to do? Then you have to go through a PI channel. So PI is nothing but the process integration. So the process integration channel. So PI is just work as a middle layer. Okay, so what happens that from MDM, the question which was asking a few minutes back, that let's say from MDM I want to send the data to MDG, then what happens? So basically from MDM, let's say I want to send some vendor details or material details to syndicator. So syndicator will send the XML file. PI will receive the XML file. Then PI will convert this XML file into IDOC, because XML and IDOC, they have more or less same sort of a structure. Okay, and then MDG will receive this IDOC data, and MDG can understand the IDOC data, and then in MDG we will process the data. Same way, if the target is MDM system, why I'm using MDM system? Because MDM system does not understand IDOC data. It understands only the XML data. Similarly, some third-party system which may not able to understand IDOC data. Okay, so that's the reason I'm using this example. Then again, you need to use PI as a middle layer, and then what happens that MDG will send IDOC, and that will convert by PI to XML, and that XML will send it to the MDM system to update the data. Okay. Now probably you can ask me why I need to update in MDM, because MDM is no more in force. No, I'm just giving you an example. It can be just visualize the third party system, then how it will be. Or sometimes what happens though, MDM system, it is not in use, but still it is part of your business, and very near future it will be obsolete. That is true. But sometimes, let's say, still you want to update some certain particular data in MDM system, because still it is a part of your business, as a secondary system or whatever it is, then you can update that. Yeah. But this is one example. So regarding deployment option, I'm not starting today. This is another topic. So basically today, what are those topics we talked about? We basically talked about the purpose of MDG for business management and governance, and the detailed, this is, we just started, we just talked about the architectural understanding. Deployment options, I will continue in the next session, but I complete this one, like business framework. So how the business no, 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 wait a minute, no. So today only this one, first topic, that is purpose of MDG for business management and governance. And we just started with the architecture. One basic architecture we discussed. Next session onwards, we will talk about the various deployments and so on. Okay. So